Thanks for your support as a channel member, Ollie Collins. So how many players did you expect me to sign then? 4? How much did you expect me to spend? £200 million? Yep, that's about right too. Hello and welcome to part 2 of my FM20 beta Manchester United save. There needs to be a catchier way or even a different order to put those words in. I'm Kevin. Coming up on this episode, we are going to have a look at those summer transfers that I may have just hinted at in the little intro. And we're going to play our first game of the new season away against Norwich. But yes, I did spend £200 million on 4 players, but the really cool thing is because it's Manchester United, there's still over £300 million in the bank, there's still transfer money left, there's still wage budget left. Managing the biggest club in the world is fun when you manage money the way I do. In fact, we only made a loss this month of £7 million with all the... we've made a £200 million. How does money work at Manchester United? I don't understand. Transfers then, as you can see, I did try and get rid of Phil Jones, but no one would pay his wages, so he is still knocking about the place. But these are the players that I've brought in. I mentioned this one in the last episode. James Rodriguez joins from Real Madrid for £44.5 million. He is just, I loved him in the beta last year when I had him. And I want to love him again in the beta this year. That's a bit of a theme of these transfers. Players that I enjoyed very much in last year's beta. And this is my way of forcing this team into playing the way I want to play. We are still going with that tiki-taka we looked at in the last episode today. If it doesn't work today, I have a gegenpress being trained. But Rodriguez signing number 1. We've got Jose Gaya, 24-year-old Spanish international left-back. Just because we only had Luke Shaw. You'll see in a second I've sold Ashley Young. So we only had Luke Shaw as an option at left-back. So rather than signing someone younger and cheaper and not as good as Luke Shaw, I thought, you know what, it makes sense just to get someone better. So we've got 2 good left backs competing for that position now. He joined for £51 million from Valencia. Another one of the stars from last year's beta, Serge Gnabry, joins from Bayern Munich. 7 goals in 8 caps for Germany is mad. I assume that's his real life statistic. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. He comes in for £65 million. I know he's another left-sided inside forward at a club that's already got Rashford and Martial, but he can use either foot, and he's just as natural playing on the right-hand side or deep in midfield. So he's arrived to come and play on the right-hand side of the attacking midfield 3. Rashford on one side, Gnabry on the other, James in the middle. And then the final signing is just to offer us a little bit more oomph in the midfield. You'll know from the last episode, I'm not yet sold on McTominay. He could convince me he is the man, but we've sold Matic and replaced him with Leon Goretzka, the third and final veteran from last year's beta save. 24 years old, exactly the right age group, already 23 caps for Germany, a box-to-box midfielder. You know how much I love a box-to-box midfielder, and I think he'll complement Pogba really well, and importantly, is younger and going to get better. All of which means if we go to the Club Vision page and have a look at what the board think about transfer activity, and they're giving me a C at the moment, saying it's satisfactory. But that's mainly because of the transfers going out, I think, particularly Matic, who he sold for very little money. The fans like my transfers, which is nice. But we got a C+ for Goretzka, a B- for Gnabry, a B+ for Gaya, and a C- for James. They are disappointed with the deal to sign him because they feel the transfer doesn't represent a good deal for the club. I think it does. I disagree. The fans like it too. So you got to please the fans sometimes. They think I should have got more for Matic. I probably could have got more for Matic, but my priority was getting him off the wage bill. He's old. I don't like old men. So Matic has gone to Ajax for far less than he's worth just to get rid of him. Similar idea with Ashley Young. Although that one, the board are pleased because it gets the player's salary off the club wage bill. That was exactly the thought process behind Matic. I don't understand. Rojo has gone to Everton and they're paying all of his wages. So again, that pleases the board because we're reducing the wage bill. And then there's a few youngsters as well. The fans wanted me to give Rojo more playing time, which I don't really understand, because if we go and have a look at the team report, where do we play him? We've got Maguire, we've got Jones still, we've got Bailly, we've got Lindelof, we've got Tuanzebe. Is that how you say his name? Someone's going to have to teach me to say that. Plus Smalling and Rojo, obviously both coming back from their loans at the end of the season. we've got too many centre-backs. But I think with those transfers, we do now have a more balanced squad. We still don't have the striker. I was looking for a striker. Such a thing does not seem to exist. We looked, you can see the calibre we were looking at. But the ones that were actually scouted by my scouts, they're all wingers who can play up front. It doesn't seem like this is the summer for strikers to move. So we weren't able to get a striker, and that can be a priority for next summer. But for now, we'll make do with Martial, we'll make do with Rashford. Gnabry can play up there if need be. Sanchez will be back next summer, although we want rid of him because he's on so much money. But I think between Martial, Rashford, and obviously the youngster Mason Greenwood, is that his name? Who's, I guess, in the under-23 squad. He's there or thereabouts. If we actually go on to Marcus Rashford, look at strikers. There we go. Greenwood already almost as good as Rashford as a striker with 5-star potential, and he's still super young. So we'll either buy a striker next summer or Mason Greenwood will become a star. We'll see how that pans out. On the left-hand side, we obviously could play Gnabry or Lingard there. I don't imagine either of them will. This is really going to be Rashford and Martial are going to be over on this side, unless they're both busy playing up front, in which case Gnabry and Lingard can fill in over there. Gnabry, Lingard, James, these are all our options for the right-hand side. And then in attacking midfield, we've got James, we've got Lingard, we've got Pogba, who can play further forward if need be. And I might end up experimenting with Pogba further forward, because tactically, with Goretzka coming in and being the box-to-box midfielder, every part of what I know about Football Manager is telling me that Pogba should be on a defensive instruction as the playmaker next to him, just so we've got somebody covering the defence. But I don't want Paul Pogba sitting in front of the back four. I want him involved in the attacks. So we're kind of going into the first game of the season with no defensive midfield at all. We've got McTominay who can fill in that role if need be. But then how do we fit Goretzka and Pogba in? And we're going to rotate. We've got lots of competitions to try and win this season. There's options, which we didn't really have before. Central midfield, you can see we've got 5 good options in there. Left back, we've got 2 good players competing. Right back, we've got Wan-Bissaka, we've got Dalot, both there who can... Dalot, no idea. Who are both... I mean, we've got young fullbacks on both sides, a couple of decent ones, and then we already know about all the centre-backs we've got. We don't have much in the way of a backup goalkeeper, but let's just hope De Gea stays fit. All of that leading to the first game of the league season, and this is the team that we're putting out there. I've kind of already shown you it and hinted very strongly at it anyway, but we're going with De Gea in goal, a back four of Gaia, Maguire, Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, Pogba and Goretzka in midfield. I mean, apparently that's an area of strength, I guess, because of those two, but there's no one covering it. We'll see. Maguire and Lindelof might be able to take care. I do think this system probably isn't going to work away against Liverpool or Man City, but we're playing Norwich. We might be able to just overpower them by really going with a really oomph-filled front six and just leaving these two to defend while these two push on. This is going to be a mess. And then Rashford, Rodriguez, Gnabry behind Martial up front. Shall we get into the game and see what happens? This isn't going to end badly. This is all going to be fine. I've never used a tiki-taka in a competitive game of Football Manager before. This will either be the dawning of a new era, and tiki-taka is going to be my FM20 tactic, just like Gegenpress was my FM19 tactic, or this is going to be a humiliating embarrassment that I don't want to put on the internet, and we'll be back to the Gegenpress tomorrow. We should be winning this match. Let's kick off. Let's see how we get on. Let's cross our fingers and hope that we can at least put in a good performance. I'm not expecting us to look like the best team in the world just yet, but I am expecting us to look a little bit more like Manchester United, and that was a weird goal. Are we getting a replay of that? We've gone to VAR. We've gone to the little camera. It's been disallowed. Has it been disallowed? It has. So this is where the corner came across. Martial with the header, and Gnabry nodded it in. See, I didn't see Gnabry, first of all. My red-green colour blindness was what was confusing me. I saw Martial head it, and then it weirdly popped back over the line, and Gnabry was completely invisible to me. Did see him on the replay, but yeah. Was actually seeing the VAR decisions. We didn't get that in FM19, or is that an option I could have turned on, or at some point I turned off? But I quite liked being able to see that and find out why the goal was disallowed. That was very pleasant. More of that, please, Football Manager. But an encouraging start. We've had the ball in the back of the net, and then we've let them in behind us, and luckily we've got David De Gea in goal. I feel like that's a sentence I'm going to say more than once over the course of this series, because that was some pretty poor defending to open up so much space, and we have now gone a goal down inside 10 minutes, and it's from a set piece. I don't think we should be conceding from set pieces like this. This is why we signed Harry Maguire, to deal with these kind of situations. Well, that was pretty poor. We'll give it a minute, and then we're going to have 10 minutes of passion. Pogba drifts past his man. This is why I want Pogba more involved further forward. Rashford to Martial. We're knocking the ball around beautifully, but because we're a tiki-taka bunch of tiki-takas, we're not having a shot. Somebody have a shot. Gaia now crosses over to Wan-Bissaka, to Gnabry, who gets the ball in the back of the net for the second time. And this time it actually counts. A debut goal for Serge Gnabry. And I have a feeling that's going to be the first of many. This lad seems to have goals in him, and I approve of it greatly. We kept possession of the ball nicely. I guess I just need to get more used to a more patient build-up, which isn't the way I've ever played Football Manager before. So we're trying new things. Try something different for the beta. I might learn something for Non-League to Legend. Not that I'm going to go into Kings Lynn in a couple of weeks' time and play a tiki-taka in the National League, because that's probably not going to be a good plan. Goretzka, looking for his debut goal, forces the save out of the Norwich keeper. And now we have another corner. It's Rodriguez to take, swings it in, but there's nobody at all there. Pogba lurking on the edge of the area, though, finds Lindelof, and it works its way all the way back to whoever was sitting back. I don't even know. That could have gone all the way back to De Gea. The highlight just kind of drifted away from me. I don't like this stuff. Hold on, we like latest scores there. We like league table there. I'm slowly starting to make this look more and more like FM19. It's drifting back into my comfort zone. Harry Maguire's nervous, and I don't really know why. They've picked up an injury to their left winger. 1-1 at half time is not a disaster. We've definitely controlled the game. We've had more shots. We've had more possession. We just need to be a little bit more clinical, and I do worry that this might be a bit of a theme of this season, although Martial was about to make me eat my words. If he'd have took that in the back of the net, I'd have looked like a right idiot, because I am once again going to criticise the squad balance, he says, after just spending £200 million, and the fact we don't have a striker, like a real top-quality Champions League level, out-and-out goal-scoring striker. We haven't got that 25, 30 goal a season man, unless he's already here and he's going to emerge from the squad. Pogba forcing the save out of the Norwich keeper. Again, I like the fact that Pogba is involved further forward. I'd hate to shackle him and sit him in front of the back four, but it is going to leave us open to counter-attacks, just like we're potentially getting here. But Gnabry is there to play it across to Lindelof, who looked like he lost out on the ball there, but the highlight thankfully ended before we were embarrassed. And the highlight starts again with another one of these fancy goal kicks. The game just wants to show us some fancy goal kicks. It's distributed out to the fullback, and now Norwich are trying to knock the ball nicely around us, which this is supposed to be our thing. We're tiki-taka Man United. They're in behind our fullback again. This hasn't been the most promising of debuts for Gaia at left back, because that's twice he's let them in behind him. First time leading to the goal, and that time leading to a very good chance that a better team score there. Pogba can't faff about with the ball too much there, finds Rodriguez, and then Gaia in space, cross over to Wan-Bissaka. Who is he going to cross into? Well, have we got any players in the middle? Somebody just crossed the football. Okay, we actually scored a really lovely goal. I will learn to get used to it. I don't know how long I can do patient build-up for, because that was beautiful. It was a really nice goal. But my word, I wanted Gaia to just drill it across goal, and then definitely wanted Wan-Bissaka to just drill it across goal. But instead, he picks out the perfect pass, and it is a beautiful goal. And that's James Rodriguez with a debut goal as well. Despite all of my complaints and frustration, we are playing really well. So I've got to keep going with this. It suits the team, apparently. Wan-Bissaka now, in acres of space, finds Gnabry, who plays it across to Gaia, who also in acres of space, and there's Martial, and he can't apply the finish. This might be the other reason why we're not forcing the ball into the area, because Martial's just a little bit unpredictable with his finishing. Pogba's been fouled there, and I do believe we have a penalty. It looks like it has been given, which I think Rashford I put as our penalty taker. That looks like a number 10 on his back, so I think that is Rashford. So Rashford steps up and scores a first goal of the season for him. It's 3-1 to Manchester United on the 57-minute mark, and fingers crossed we shouldn't be able to mess it up from here. Now, we have got a counter-attacking tactic that we're training. I don't know that we necessarily need to wheel it out against Norwich, but the theory is if we go ahead like this in a game against a bigger team, at that point Rodriguez comes off, McTominay comes on, and we just kind of drop back to a 4-3-3 and a more counter-attacking version of this system. So there is a plan there. Maguire's not having a very fun time. Let's get Mason Greenwood on. Mason Greenwood, I'll show you the development centre before the episode ends, just so that you can have a proper look at Mason Greenwood. Let's get McTominay on as well and get him doing ball-winning midfielder. But Greenwood has got a proper diagonal situation going on his development line. And he's going to be the one. He's going to be the one we develop. He's going to be our breakout star. So I guess he's really going to benefit from the fact that I didn't go and sign Harry Kane or someone of that ilk, because it's going to give him the game time that he wouldn't have got otherwise. We're going to bring Luke Shaw on for the last 10 minutes or so. And fingers crossed we're going to grab a fourth goal here, because that would probably put us top of the league. And it is Greenwood who scores! Has it been allowed? Please tell me that's been allowed. Rashford was offside, apparently. That's a little harsh. Let's have a look at it from the other. I mean, it's a 17-year-old kid scoring. Is it his debut? It's certainly his first game under his new manager. I would have just let that stand just for the sake of, he's a kid, let him have it. So his mate strayed a little bit offside, so what? But no, apparently the game is just mean. The game picks on children. I want that on record. And there we go, the abrupt end to the game that we get now without a final whistle highlight. And we've won the game and absolutely dominated the game as well. I know it's only Norwich, so we have to take it with a pinch of salt. But if we continue to play that well as we get used to playing this way, then you've got to say that there's the potential for some positive stuff to come up. But this is what I was talking about with the development centre. Greenwood on a massive upward trajectory, still only 17 years old, doesn't turn 18 until October. It wasn't his debut. He played a few games, presumably off the bench last season. But this is going to be Mason Greenwood's breakout year. We're gonna really develop him using the development centre. That's the plan. Right, I'm going to get a few games under my belt now. This isn't going to be like the posh save that we did from the capture event. I'm not showing you everything that goes on. So we're going to get a few games under my belt. We'll probably come back somewhere, maybe around for the first game of the Europa League if it's an interesting game. Otherwise, we'll perhaps do something involving Tottenham, because that's going to be probably the most interesting. We've got quite a nice start to the season. You would expect for Manchester United 6 wins from 5 wins from 5. No, 6 wins from 6 to start the season. That's got to be what we're aiming for. Norwich, Everton, Sheffield United, Burnley, Bournemouth, Villa. We've got to be expecting to, or not expecting, but hoping to go into that Tottenham game top of the league on 18 points. Does mean we've got some difficult games coming up towards Christmas. Man City and Arsenal back to back. We'll worry about that when the time comes. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Like I said yesterday, thumbs ups, likes, they are the best way to support a new series, to support a channel, support your favourite creator. So if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you do leave the thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 videos. And thank you very much for watching.